Hi guys, welcome to this quick review about the Vormor X5 translator. It's a scan translator. It's very unique. I mean, most of the translators which you find on the market are just working with a normal camera, and then they are actually working in a similar way as you have on your mobile phone, so it doesn't make sense to really buy them. And I have tested a couple of them and I've been actually pretty disappointed. So this makes much more sense to buy because it's a unique thing. It's not something which you can do with your mobile phone. Of course, it's a little bit more expensive, but it has really much more capabilities or different capabilities, and it comes with this nice carry box. You can see that. That's also something good for travel. Here's the device. You get even a charging cable, and it works also with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but there are already 3 languages which are built into this device. I'm going to set this up for you so you can see how to set it up and then use it with a couple of things, and then I'll give you my final resume on this. This is not like just an ad or so like most of the other videos which are just showing the positive things. I'm also going to show you some disadvantages and what I really honestly think about this device. So here we have it. It's nice and shiny and not too large, not too small. I think it has a decent size. I have already fully charged it. By the way, we get this instructions manual, but there's as far as I can see not even a website support or so, but you can find it online. That's vormorai.com, and there you can find everything, all the information and much better instructions manual, where you can see also the details in the images. Here you can't see anything at all. So at least we have something like a full website with support, and that's really good. So I have fully charged it, and to turn it on we have to long press here, and after that it gives us the welcome title here, and takes a little bit to boot it up, but I don't mind for the first time. There's also a standby mode. It usually goes into standby mode, and then you can wake it up either here or directly here. That's also an AI button or home button, wake up button. It has a couple of different functions. Select language looks a little bit strange here, but we just click on that, and after that we can pick the language, which is of course English here, and then we have to set it up, of course, and we are using Wi-Fi. That's really important. I highly recommend to connect it to Wi-Fi and then make an update to the firmware, because first I've been trying it without the upgrade and it gave me some errors. So it's highly recommended to connect to Wi-Fi. This is what I'm doing here. By the way, the keyboard is working really good. It's very similar to a smartphone. So I have my password here. I click on connect, and you can see it's connecting and already connected. And usually we have this back button here on top, so we can go back, and it says, yeah, okay, to start initializing offline resources. Of course, yes, okay, let's do that. Takes a little bit of time to update everything, but it's just the first time. By the way, when you do a reset, I mean, when we go to the settings, we can do a reset or just clear the cache. If you're having a problem, I highly recommend to just clear the cache. And if the problem persists, I mean, always try to make a firmware upgrade. If that also doesn't work, then you can do a factory reset. This is what I have been doing, and this is what then happens after that. So you have to be aware of that. If you do a factory reset, you'll have to go through the whole process and update everything. I mean, it doesn't take too long. So in my case, didn't even take 5 minutes, but you have to be aware of that. So there are actually 2 pages of menus here. You can see how nicely we can swipe left and right. This is exactly as you have on your mobile phone. So most of the translators are using very cheap displays, so this is definitely not the case here. So we have actually 8 menus. I'm going to show you most of them. Here we have the settings for the beginning, and the good thing is when you start, it gives you a lot of explanations on every page. For example, here, hold down the rightmost of the screen and slide to the left to return to the previous page. This is one of my complaints here. Yeah, go back. Why isn't it from the left side to the right side? This is more like a standard to go back, but it's a small thing, and I'm sure you get used to that. So I got it here, and you can see that the Wi-Fi, we can change the volume. We can also change the volume up and down here. And the brightness, the screen is very good. So we are not even on 50%, and it's already very bright. We can change daytime. Change standby, automatic shutdown, then the language, but we have already selected it. You can see there are many languages for the desktop here. Fault line scan, Bluetooth, we can activate that. Yeah, you can definitely connect it to Bluetooth. You can even use your headphones to listen to MP3, which you download here. I mean, it's not a large space, large storage, but you can do that if you want. But what's more important actually, that you can connect to an Android device or like iOS or your PC, Windows 10, and then transmit the data which you have been scanning here to your PC. That's something which could be really important, special extra function. Then again, we have the upgrade here. Sometimes it's a little bit laggy. I mean, it's not too laggy, but sometimes you have to keep pushing, or you wait for a little bit, and then you can see here's the firmware upgrade, and you really have to do that because it's much better experience after that. And this is something which I also like here from this company. Looks like they are really caring about their product. They have the firmware upgrades, and maybe we can even expect some more features in the future. So that's really good here. With most of the translator, they come with their firmware, and you'll never get any updates. So let's see if it's finished. We click here and you can see, yeah, it's back here. We can double click, of course. So let's check again on the upgrade, and it says we are on the latest firmware. And here's the reset. If you need to total reset, you can do that here. I mean, first thing, you can clear cache. Maybe it helps, or you can restore factory settings. But then you have to go through the whole upgrade process again, 5 or 10 minutes or so. Here you can see the Wi-Fi. We have the battery level. Battery lasts for the whole day. That's also good. I mean, for a whole day, not in standby, but full working, at least as far as the instructions is saying. So let's start here with the text scan. That's the thing here, which I think is even the default. How this device works is that it has this sensor. You can see we have to push this inside. So when you hold it down, let's say here, then it starts automatically with the light and then scanning. So we have to wait a little bit. So we push down here, wait till we see the light, and then we go slowly over this text here. There's also a center mark here, and that helps also a little bit to keep it centered. Yeah, you can see. So we are on the English to Chinese, so we can have this and the Chinese translation. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you if this is correct, but I will do some other samples where I can tell you how good it is. When we swipe from left to right, you can choose the languages. So you can see the available offline languages. These languages are stored into this device. Unfortunately, we cannot add any other offline languages. For other languages, we have to be connected to the Wi-Fi. So I'm using English here. Loading complete, and then we select the translate language. In my case, I'm going to choose German as a translate language. And you can see when you go back, there's still the Chinese here. So you have to go out here of this menu and start it again. And yeah, there's this instruction again. Of course, after upgrading the firmware, click on I got it. You can see sometimes this is a little bit slow here, but I hope they will change that in an upgrade. So we are again here. Let's try this again. We wait and center this here and go along, and hopefully it will work. By the way, we have to do it.
Replacement of batteries.
Yeah.
Austausch von Batterien.
Okay, perfectly translated. By the way, we shouldn't go like in a 90 degrees angle. It should be somewhere in between 45 degrees and 80 degrees angle how we read it. But usually based on my experience, it has been working really good. And this translation is definitely perfect. And I can tell you, it's not only working with books, it's also working online. So we can scan this also here, but it can be a little bit more difficult based on your screen or so. Let's try this here. Scanning failed. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can see it failed here. Now let's try it again. Yeah. Yeah, it does definitely have some problems with this screen here, but I have tried this before yesterday and it was successful actually. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe the light a little bit mirroring or the brightness here is not okay. Usually it has been working, not this time. So I will keep going here with this book. It's actually just scanning line by line, but we can do it with a couple of lines right after each other. I mean, it's not perfect sample here, but I think we can try this here. It's a little bit small written, but let's keep trying here and see what it got.
Press replace the battery with the same type. CA2025 3V, making sure the plus side facing up. 3 push in the holder until securely locked into place.
Yeah, so it had some errors.
Press ersetzen Sie die Batterie durch den gleichen Typ CR2025 3V und achten Sie darauf, dass die Plus-Seite nach oben zeigt. 3 drücken Sie die Halterung hinein, bis sie sicher einrastet.
Okay, we heard that. It looks like I have been a little bit off with the lines, but apart from that, it's really good. This is what I like. We can just continue if we have a couple of lines. Doesn't matter, even if we have a long text, we can capture everything. Let's go back. So there's nothing else here at the moment. The next thing is the phonetic translation. That's really interesting thing and probably the thing which you will like the most. We have 2 different languages for every person. One we can swipe in from the left side and choose the blue color. That's in my case I have selected German, but you can switch to anything. And also the other language, the orange language, we have the English here. So let's go back. We can push here or we can use these buttons here. You can see blue, blue, orange, orange. So I'm starting with German. Guten Morgen.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Guten Morgen. Wie geht es Ihnen?
Danke gut, ich würde gerne ein Brot kaufen.
Thanks. Well, I would like to buy some bread.
Sure, what kind of bread would you like?
Sicher. Welches Brot möchten Sie?
Ich hätte gern ein Weißbrot.
I would like a white bread.
Of course, thank you. Yeah, something like that. You can see it's...
Natürlich. Dankeschön.
Yeah, it's definitely working very seamlessly. That's impressive, something which is really good. But of course, it can only record while you're holding, and then after you release the button, it will translate. So it's not like a continuous process. You cannot like go into a speech or so and use this. Like for now, it would be really interesting if you could use that and it would translate this simultaneous, or like watch a movie or something like that. But maybe they can add this in the future, but it's definitely working really good. And we have this text excerpt, and this is working like that. We can scan this here. So like we do this again. We are scanning some text here, and let's see what happens. So So you can see we have some text here. We can then either edit the file name or we can edit the text itself. You can see. So you have directly a text editor here. But we can continue to record just with the scanner, add more lines here like that. Of course, yeah, that was probably not so good here. And you can see when we have the light, it's available for the next line. So we can scan long text almost endlessly. So you can see it has it all, and now we can save it and maybe send it to a computer or a phone or tablet. Very interesting function. So we save this here. Then we have the intelligent recording. Can record something new. We click here. Hello, good morning, how are you? Then we stop, confirm. So that's then the file. You can see instead of typing or instead of scanning, we can just talk to the device and it will record the thing as a note for you. That's also something which is really interesting. Then the dictionary is very, very capable to translate and help you a lot to learn English or other languages. Let's try again here the same thing.
Replacement.
So we can click here. We have even two different type of pronunciation. I think one is American English, one is British English.
Replacement.
You can see there's a little bit of difference. We can add it to favorites if we want to learn it. There's another menu here for favorites. The good thing is also it's not just one word. You can translate or work on the whole sentence. We can click on that. Goes to the next thing. That's really good. And then we have a lot of more information down here, some examples and much more here. Really interesting thing. And we can even add some text if we want directly from here, so you don't have to scan it. Or also here we can let it read the whole thing or translate it directly. And then we have the favorites here. Yeah, we haven't stored that. So since we have it here, we can add it to the favorites. And let's go back to the next menu, which is the favorites. And you can see we have it here.
Replacement.
The next thing is the MP3, which I already told. You can connect it to your computer through the USB download and then listen directly either here from the speaker or through the headphones when you have connected them in the settings with Bluetooth, using it as an MP3 player. I mean, it has not a huge amount of space, but usually MP3s don't need a lot of space. So you can probably download hundreds of them and don't have a problem. What I haven't found here is the English study. I have seen other videos about this device, and it has some English study where it would check your English pronunciation and then give you some rating how good or bad it is. I don't know how you could activate that, but there's always a chance that you get some updates here. Just always check here if there's a new upgrade, and maybe we'll get some nice other features. So in general, my observation or my bottom line here is it's a very good device. I would say it has a lot of features which other translators don't have, and so it makes sense to pay a little bit more for that and then have something good. It would have been nice to have more offline languages, and I think the online languages are 112, but maybe they will add also offline languages. I don't know, but in general it works really good. I had a little bit of problems scanning sometimes with from the screen, but that's something which probably not many people will use. So I would say, especially when you are reading a book and try to learn new language, this is probably the best option which you will find today for a reasonable price. And so I'm pretty happy. I can fully recommend it, and I'll put down the link to the Amazon listing down into the description, so you can check it out and order it right from there if you like it. And I hope I've been able to help you a little bit with this video. If you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.